Sam Britton, the assistant deputy secretary at the Energy Department that apparently has some power over our nuclear system, whether that's nuclear energy or nuclear weapons. For those of you who are unaware, nuclear weapons are actually controlled by the Energy Department in large part because of the fact that they're related to atomic energy, and one of the ways that we actually destroy nuclear weapons is by breaking them down and using what actually is in the warheads to power nuclear reactors, another way that nuclear power can actually help society, thus removing some nuclear weapons from the world, but that's a whole issue for another day, has been caught now 2 different times stealing luggage from the airport. Also, Sam Britton identifies as a non-binary and looks like this. This is the story that we're going to talk about. This is what we're going to go over. This is where we are in this country. And I'm almost at a loss for words, but I shall find them, fear not, because we have to talk about this story. However, this video does in fact have a sponsor, because we can't just steal expensive luggage at the airport in order to pay our bills over here. We actually have to transition to a sponsorship and talk about it on the other side of this transition to a sponsorship. I hope you guys get the jokes. Thick skin is good for more than just fighting off mean words. In fact, thick skin can actually help prevent you from showing the visible signs of aging, because when your skin gets thin, it starts to lose elasticity. You start to get wrinkles. You start looking quite old in the face, and you might think there's absolutely nothing you can do about it, but luckily for you, today's video sponsor can help you. If you go over to healthwithjustice.com, you can get this amazing multi-collagen powder with 5 different types of collagens that can help thicken your skin, maintain the elasticity, and fight off aging. That's healthwithjustice.com, healthwithjustice.com. So look, I'm told from time to time, maybe you've heard this slogan, that diversity is actually our greatest strength. And here in the United States of America, when you look at a room and you see the people in the room have the same skin tone and same sexual orientation and same gender, as long as that gender is male, as long as that skin tone is white, and as long as that orientation is straight, then that is not a good thing. That makes us weaker, not stronger. And this is why we have to subvert qualifications, because I don't know if you guys know this, qualifications aren't everything, and hire diverse voices from diverse backgrounds, from diversity. Now, you could say that from time to time, I've had slight disagreements with this position. You could say from time to time, I may have counter-signaled, as the Gen Zers like to call it, against this position, but in reality, in actuality, I think diversity is absolutely a wonderful thing, especially when we see that diversity show up on CCTV camera, and that diversity is stealing from other people, even though they have a cushy government job. So, we gotta go into the local news report, because I think this story is hilarious. There's not a ton of substance to this, except for this person was at a top level position in the Energy Department, which again has some level of control over our nuclear weapons, and this is how they're behaving. But yeah, let's go to the local news segment so we can all enjoy what's going on.
An Energy Department official caught on camera allegedly stealing luggage according to a warrant first obtained by 8 News Now. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us here at 4. I'm Kirsten Joyce.
And I'm Christian Casares. It's a story the 8 News Now investigators first broke. Vanessa Murphy joining us live in studio with the latest. Vanessa.
So I just want to say, and honestly, this really does not get said enough, that I absolutely love the local news. Local news is so corny, so over the top, and so ridiculous that we should all appreciate them that much more, because it's actually kind of wholesome. This local CBS affiliate has this whole graphic laid out with their local investigator team, their investigative hard-hitting reporters and all that. When the guy just told you that they obtained the video from the airport, and you don't need 3 people obtaining a video from an airport in order to tell you what's on the video that they obtained. But it's an Action News investigator CBS 8 local affiliate out of Nevada that we gotta cover, so they bring out the graphic, they drop it on you, and then they get into the segment.
Energy Department Deputy Assistant Secretary Sam Brinton made headlines after being charged with stealing luggage in Minneapolis. Metro Police saw those news stories and said, hey, that's the person stealing luggage over the summer here in Las Vegas for a previously unsolved case.
Again, who doesn't love the local news? This is so wholesome. This is so beautiful. This is such a slice of Americana that you can't help but appreciate it. They just gave us their dramatic graphic with their investigative I-team over at CBS. They cut to Vanessa Murphy to deliver this story because for some reason the anchor actors at the desk can't deliver it. She needs to deliver it in front of two screens while she's standing in quite a flattering red dress, might I add. And she's pointing, she's like, investigators, because Minneapolis is over here, that airport's over here, said that happened over in the Vegas airport. And again, why do you need an investigative team if this was all told to you by the police investigators who actually did the investigation? All you guys did was get the video, but I gotta say, I appreciate you so much for doing so.
Now, as we first reported yesterday, a warrant is issued for Brinton for a felony charge. Police say Brinton posted a selfie at the airport wearing the same t-shirt that's seen in the video. Brinton takes the victim's luggage from the carousel, looks at the tag, puts it back on the carousel, looks around to see if anyone's watching, and then takes the luggage.
You gotta love the local news. They got this video exclusively, and they want you to know it. That's why they imprinted their CBS 8 logo over it. And they think that you're stupid, so they show you an image of this person, this Sam Brinton person over at the Energy Department, stealing luggage. They say it's this person stealing luggage, but they still put in an arrow just so you guys know that what you're watching is the luggage being stolen. I mean, your brain could have possibly assembled that this is Sam Brinton, that's luggage, Sam Brinton is wheeling that luggage away. Possibly you're watching because they told you we have surveillance video of Sam Brinton stealing the luggage. Sam Brinton steal the luggage, but they were like, no, let's put an arrow in there just so you can understand that Sam Brinton over at the Energy Department is stealing luggage in this frame and that this is not a completely unrelated image for whatever reason that they just decided coincidentally to put up on the screen for no reason.
Now, the owner of that luggage filing a police report and estimating the value of her luggage and her belongings in it at nearly $3,700.
So I was actually shocked by this, but it turns out what Brinton is actually stealing is not the contents of the luggage, even though the contents of this luggage were apparently estimated combined with the actual luggage itself at $3,700. But apparently Brinton is targeting designer bags or whatever that costs a ton of money. And in the other case out of Minneapolis, the same exact thing happened. And again, this is somebody who's an assistant deputy secretary at the Energy Department in the section that has to do with nuclear energy, which again, as we discussed, is related to nuclear weapons because those are controlled in large part by the Department of Energy, not by the United States Armed Forces directly. Obviously, there's crossover or whatever, and this is just one of the reasons why you shouldn't go for diversity hires in critical positions. Brinton obviously has a lot of issues. I know a lot of left-wing people don't really care about thefts. They tell me all the time that it's just property. I always get comments about how these people are just Aladdins and we just need to fix the economic devastation that has been wrought throughout our country, and then these people will stop stealing. Honestly, it's not their fault. It's just our capitalist economy is so evil, so racist, and so horrible that they can't help but do this because I don't know if you know this, all criminals are Aladdin. But the thing is, Sam Brinton was clearly gifted a position at the U.S. Department of Energy. That's a good salaried position with benefits, government benefits, so you know those benefits are valued quite high. And this is still happening. We're still watching this person on video steal luggage. And remember, this is only the second incident. And we have an incident in July and an incident in November. How much do you want to bet that if we scan the surveillance videos at other airports, because this person obviously travels a lot, we're going to see more thefts, more of this pattern of behavior? Is this somebody that you want in control of your energy policy? Is this somebody that you want close to your nuclear secrets? Is this somebody that you should have hired because they identify as a non-binary, wear a dress, and look absolutely ridiculous?
The theft is alleged to have happened in July, but police say they identified Brinton as the suspect in November, again after seeing Brinton already making headlines for a similar crime. Brinton is 35 years old, a deputy assistant secretary at the Office of Nuclear Energy, but on leave after facing charges in Minneapolis. That case is ongoing.
On top of that, I don't know about you guys. I'm not sure if you have any experience with thievery or anything like that. Now, I don't steal. I'm a good person. I'm not an Aladdin. I'm just a solid person overall. But if I were to steal, one of the things that I would try to do is maybe, I don't know, and maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm stretching this a little bit, try to not look as conspicuous as humanly possible. Every single photo of this person, clearly you could tell the desire was to stick out as much as possible. Why else would you have a mustache, have a bald head, be clearly a man, and wearing a dress in all of the photos? And I know a lot of people are going to say, Sean, you're misgendering. That's a non-binary. Don't misgender this person because it's a non-binary. But if I'm being honest, I don't want this non-binary to be in a female prison. This person steals luggage from ladies, and I don't trust them. I think they're weird, and they were way too close to government secrets, specifically in the nuclear department. Look, when I attack diversity, I'm not saying that every single government position should be loaded up with white males. I mean, here you have an instance of somebody who is clearly male, their sex is male, they're also white, and this is how they're misbehaving. What I'm talking about when I talk about diversity not necessarily inherently being a strength is that when you prioritize different characteristics other than qualifications, other than the person's merit, you're often going to get suboptimal results. We all know that when you prioritize math scores and all of that, in terms of university admissions, it's not white males that benefit, it's a lot of Asians that benefit. We all know, or should know, that some of the greatest beneficiaries from affirmative action happen to be white women, because white women do quite well in K through 12 education, they score pretty well on their SATs, and because they have the woman card, they are brought into universities which also overwhelmingly cater to women, and they benefit. And look, if white women, or black women, or Hispanic women, or Asian women, or South Asian women, or South Asian half-black, indigenous, non-binary midgets that are in a wheelchair are actually better and more qualified for a certain position, then I'm totally on board with them getting that position. I'm not against it at all whatsoever, but it should be the last thing we care about. It should be the last thing we consider. Unless you're conducting market research and you're trying to get specific information from a certain demographic, then this thing doesn't matter. Unless you're trying to market a movie to a certain community and you have representatives on your marketing team for that movie or for that thing or for whatever, then this shouldn't matter. And it for damn sure shouldn't matter when we're determining who is and isn't getting close to our nuclear secrets. This is just one example of how diversity can end up working out in a disastrous way. And we're lucky, honestly, if this person was only stealing high-end luggage from people at the airport, because if they decided that they wanted to steal nuclear secrets from our U.S. Energy Department and hide behind the diversity card, that would be a much bigger problem. And come to think of it, I think I remember a story of somebody put into a government position as a diversity hire that turned out to be a spy. It's just absurd. It's insane. And I understand it in theory. I understand why some good-hearted people can get on board with the representation train, and in some cases, some limited circumstances, it actually does in fact make sense. However, when your number one goal is so-called representation, when your number one goal is to make people who are not in the position be able to look at somebody in the position and say, wow, I could do that solely through representation, all you're doing is creating mascots. You're not actually having qualified people earning that position and sharing their story, marketing that person. You're saying, oh, I'm going to hire a mascot. You might as well have them in one of those foam costumes that they have during the basketball game and saying, wow, this parody of you could be you in the future. You could be a parody in order to fill a quota, in order to help a presidential administration market themselves. And they care so little about who you are as a person, your qualifications, what you've actually achieved, what you actually bring to the table beyond your mascot status, that even if there's giant red flags, even if you're a kleptomaniac, and you're not even smart enough to go incognito when you're stealing all this stuff, you dress in such a way that draws so much attention to you that anybody could spot you from a surveillance camera, we're still going to bring you on board, because all that matters is what you represent, not who you are as a person. That's not the kind of diversity I'm into. That's not the kind of diversity most minority groups are into or should be into. If they are into it, then they're just wrong. And that's not what you guys should be into. But again, those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, showing by leaving a like. You can follow me on all my social medias. Support me via the support links in the description box of this video. Subscribe for more content. This has been me talking about the non-binary energy official stealing luggage, because that's how stupid our world is, that's a headline. Till next time.